Shall we start?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, okay. Good evening, all of you, and you all are welcome for today's lecture. This is our paper, Buddhist culture in South Asia. This is today's topic. Sri Lankan Buddhist culture originated from Buddhism. I think this topic will be the last topic of Sri Lankan Buddhist culture. Okay, it's been we discussed all the areas of Sri Lankan Buddhist culture, but I did not uh, discuss in detail. Okay, I discussed as a summary. Okay, because it's a very vast. There is a very vast area in Sri Lankan Buddhist culture. Actually, this is another degree subject. Okay, it's been another paper. If we study as a degree level, Sri Lankan Buddhist culture, it is another paper. Okay, but we have to discuss part of it, part of another paper. Paper mean South Asian Buddhist culture. Okay, therefore I discussed as a summary all the topic. Okay, today topic is Sri Lankan Buddhist culture originate from Buddhism. Actually, last previous weeks we discussed uh, development of Buddhism and spread of Buddhism and arrival of Mahamahinda Thera and pre-Mahinda era. Okay, we discuss all the areas. According to the genealogical information, the history of the country begin with the arrival of Prince Vijay. Okay, have you heard about Vijay? I think I told you. Okay, he came from India and he colonized the Sri Lankan as a country. Some scholar says he was the person who colonized the Sri Lanka. But BC evidence can be found from the genealogist stories that shows that Aryans have migrated to Sri Lanka since around the 6th century, and that there were people, some tribes known as Yaksha or devils, Rakshasa, demons, and Naga, cobras, and devas, divines, etc. It's mean some scholars says before the arrival of Prince Vijaya, there were some tribes. Okay, then actually they are not original Yaksha, Raksha, or devils and demons, cobras, divines, etc. But they are the tribes. Okay, they also people. Okay, but they are tribes. Some tribes they called as devils and demons like that. Okay, it's mean non-Aryan people, the people who was in Sri Lanka. Okay, before the arrival of Prince Vijay to Sri Lanka. It has been generally accepted that the Aryan people group who migrate from Uttara Bharata, North India, mixed with the original residents of the country, and that the people society was born here. this incident or this point I told you, uh, some Aryans arrived to Sri Lanka or migrated to Sri Lanka, and they mixed with Sri Lankan, original Sri Lankan peoples. Okay, uh, can you imagine? It means they mixed. Can you hear?
Yes,
Yes,
Bante.
Bante. Mm.
Okay, don't be silent now. I am excited.
Yes.
Okay, some of them made living by hunting animals as well as farming, and some by trading. The Aryans, North Indian people came to Sri Lanka, uh, and they mixed with Sri Lankan residents, original Sri Lankan peoples, and they started a new life, uh, and they living by hunting animals and farming and trading. As seen above, the language spoken by the Aryans who migrated to Sri Lanka was the characteristic of a more civilized society. Actually, we can see uh, Aryans, they have spoken a powerful language. It is clear that the Aryans spoke a powerful language with expressive power. Uh, because they had proper language and some alphabet, etc. Therefore, they had the good language abilities.
Mm.
Linguists claim that some features of the Sinhala language reflect West Indian as well as East Indian language features. Some linguists says Sinhala language uh, can be seen some features uh, with
Yes.
West Indian and East Indian language. I think there were, I have heard there are 300,000, no, yes, 3,000 languages in India. Are they?
Yes, yes.
I have heard. Is
Hmm.
it correct?
Mm.
Yes, yes. Many languages.
3,000, yes, 3,000 languages. I have heard. Huh? Okay. Uh, there is a famous language at that time, Prakrit. Okay. Uh, uh, it can be seen some characteristic of Prakrit language in Sinhala language. Okay. Therefore, the linguists say uh, the Aryan came to Sri Lanka and they migrated Sri Lanka and they spread their language and other cultural activities. After the introduction of Buddhism, the Sinhala language developed further due to the influence of Pali, uh, the language of the Tipitaka or Pali canon. Uh, After the introduction of Buddhism, the Sinhala language developed with Pali canon and Pali language. Now, some scholars says the Sinhala language originated from Pali and Sanskrit. Okay, but both languages are in India. Okay, Indian language. As a result, uh, it was possible to write the Buddha's Dharma or Dhamma, which has deep meaning in or Sinhala language. Ah, uh, Someone says the Pali language mixed to Sinhala language, therefore, uh, they could write some deep meaning of Buddhism or Buddhist doctrines. Deep meaning of Buddhist doctrine, it was easy to write down and to explain in Sinhala language because the mixed with Pali language. Have you seen the Sinhala language.
Yes.
Yes.
Alphabet. Yes, this is single alphabet.
Yes.
This is also a Sinhala letters, and these letters used earlier. It's mean after third century, like that. Uh, Earlier, it used to build some inscriptions. Okay. Then there was no formal religion in pre-Buddhist Sri Lanka. Among these were the belief of demon, devas, ghosts, and the worship of trees. Ah, uh, do you remember we discussed? Okay, pre-Mahinda era's religious background in Sri Lanka. Do you remember? I
Yes.
think it was
Yes.
the first lesson or first
Yes.
topic of our lecture series. We discussed there were some belief and uh, uh, some not some many religious cultures in Sri Lanka. Okay, some demon, devas, ghosts, and worshipping trees and mountains, etc. However, these beliefs were not advanced enough to understand the essence of human life. It's mean and relief from suffering. Uh, uh, those religions, okay, which were pre-Buddhist, sorry, pre-Mahinda, Mahamahinda's era, it not enough to understand the essence of human life uh, and its meaning and relieve the suffering from the suffering of human mind. Okay, uh, we discussed earlier. Buddhism clearly understands that eating, sleeping, being afraid, and having sex are not the common order of action for every animals, but man can reach the uh, supreme state of the world by thinking and acting with his developed mind and by developing his mind. Ah, the other religion, they couldn't give any uh, development thinking and uh, to relieve the uh, pain of mind and suffering of mind, they couldn't do that. But Buddhism clearly did it. Okay, the Buddhism could uh, spread to the human mind what is the suffering and how to relieve the suffering, all these things, and the people could develop their mind too. Uh, their thoughts, system of action, languages, and design was developed accordingly. Uh, After the arrival of Buddhism to Sri Lanka, they developed those areas, thought, system of action, languages, design, and developed uh, areas. It is clear that the social obsessive features such as uh, appetite that existed in the Bharata or India Arya society were not seen in Sinhala culture because it followed Buddhism. Uh, I think we discussed earlier this incident. Do you remember, Rahul? In
Sorry.
India, I think still in modern society also we can see appetite,
Appetite means
Varna
Apartheid.
Dharma, Varna
Yeah.
Dharma. Brahmana, Shastriya, Vaishriya, Shudra, like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think we discussed in diploma level.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. In India, not only India, but also Sri Lanka also still we can see.
Okay.
Okay.
This is called the Varna Vyavastha.
Uh-huh. In Sri Lanka also the same situation in modern society. Some, but the modern, the now young generation, actually they do not care about those incidents. Okay. Okay. Uh, but in Sri Lanka, at that time, it cannot seen like India, but there were some things, some appetite in Sri Lanka. In the field of art, literature, and design, there was a high simplicity. Uh, it is because of this what it was able to calm the human mind and give a uh, subtle sensual pleasure instead of provoking physical feeling. Therefore, now we are discussing how Buddhism changed the Sri Lankan people's mind and life and culture. Okay, when you carefully examine the various elements added to the buildings, in appear that they have been uh, imbued with deep meaning. In Sri Lanka, if someone built a building or other things, there is a meaning. Okay, these characteristics can be seen even in the door steps, handling, moonstone, and guard stone, etc., which are considered as uh, accessories of a building. Uh, can you see these pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, wait. Yes. This is a moonstone. First one. Okay. Second one is a guard stone. The third one also same. It's called a Koravagala, and it's also a guard stone. Okay. Uh, Actually, those items, the moonstone and guard stone, the all these things have meanings. Okay, the moonstone it explain about the nibbana. Okay, the existence and nibbana. Therefore, the scholar says uh, the Buddhism changed the Sri Lankan human life and mind and culture. Okay, they did not build any building without a meaning. Okay, relics are treasured in the dome of the stupa or pagoda, symbolizing such deep meaning. Uh, uh, we discussed about the pagodas, some relics they treasured in the dome of the pagoda because they want the earlier in Sri Lankan pre-Mahinda's era people, they worship to some rock and some mountain. Okay, after the arrival of Mahamahinda, he told, when Mahamahinda Thero told you, it's not uh, suitable to worship to the mountain and other rocks. You should worship to the pagoda, because inside the pagoda there are some relics of Buddhas and other Maharaj. If you worship to the pagoda, you can earn merit. It is clear that these characteristics have affected not only the religious aspects but also the social aspects. It not only religious aspects but also social aspects. The society was shaped not on the basis of Varnashtra Dharma appetite, but on the basis of the Buddhist social divisions of Bhikshu, Bhikshuni, Upasaka, Upasika. Have you heard this word?
Yes,
Yes,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Yes,
Understand?
Bhante.
This is a order
Yes.
or sasana. Okay, Buddhist sasana. In the Buddhist, the Sri Lankan people were said by the Buddhism, there is no any difference with any person, but only different is bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, upasaka, upasika, monks, nuns, lay men and lay women. The coronation in the country was not a big player ceremony, where animals were killed and sacrificed like in India. At that time, we can see there were many sacrifice in India with coronation in the Abhishek. They killed some animals, but before the arrival of Mahamahinda Thera, we can see those items in Sri Lanka too. But after arrival of Buddhism, we cannot see those things. In creating the Buddha statue, the Sinhala artist succeeded in completing it in a way that reflect the spiritual qualities of Lord Buddha. The creating the Buddha statue, they try to express the spiritual qualities of Lord Buddha with creating the Buddha statue like that. Have you seen those statues in Sri Lanka?
No,
The
Bhante.
first one is
Yes. When
yes,
I
I
went
Yes.
to
think
Sri Lanka,
Joko.
I saw it.
Yes, yes. This is Polonnaru
Polonnaru.
area,
Mm.
Balvihara. Yes, this one also same. This is Anuradhapura, the most famous statue
Samadhi
of
Buddha.
Buddha, Samadhi. Yes, very good. Samadhi Buddha statue. This also this one is Aukana.
Alkana,
It
I
is
went
also
there.
yes, at Anuradhapura. Yes, in Anuradhapura and Polonnaru area can be seen many statues of Buddha.
Mm.
Yes, and we can't imagine how they those all these statues made by granite. Okay, can you imagine?
Bhante, did you
Very
see
nice.
Janta Ellora?
Yes, yes. In India also
Mm.
the same statues
They were
by
carved
the
from
granite.
stones.
Yes. Okay. The Sinhala literature developed in connection with the Pali Tripitaka canon is a great cultural gift we have received. Uh, it's a great gift we have received with the Pali Tripitaka Pali canon. There can be seen many books, literature books. In Sri Lanka, I did not mention actually because not needed to mention all these details. Some books, Buddh Sarana, Amavatura, Mudevdavata, like that. There were many books in Sri Lanka or single literature books related to Buddhism. Uh, it's enough to mention only they have a single books originated by the Pali Tripitaka. Okay, the two elements of post and verse in Sinhala literature, which started with Hela or Sinhala commentaries on Buddhist sermon, developed through the association of Buddhist custom and Buddhist stories. There were many Buddhist stories. They helped to create Sinhala or Hela posts and verses. Other arts such as painting, engraving, etc., also demonstrate these characteristics well. The way agriculture, another part, agriculture, uh, culture, and Buddhism have come together is evident from the great water plants that are similar to the sea. In Sri Lanka, there were giant irrigation projects. I think we cannot see other countries. We can see some lakes, but not more than Sri Lanka, as I think. The sublime culture term Vavai Dagabai, lake and pagoda. Okay, there was a term Vavai Dagabai in Sinhala word, the English word lake and pagodas. The lake and pagoda mean if someone built a pagoda, they have to use lot of soil. Okay, soil to build the pagoda. If they get soil from the earth, then it's easy to construct a lake after get the soil. Okay, this term came from with that situation. Okay, lake and pagoda. And other meaning every pagoda has a lake near or around the pagoda. Okay, Buddhism have influenced this great irrigation works like that. I did not add more pictures of irrigation. You can search the Google or internet. Sri Lankan irrigation system. You can see many pictures and you can see many information in Sri Lankan irrigation system earlier. Okay. Rituals performed from conception of a child are described in Hindu culture. In Hindu culture also we can see many rituals after born a child. It's mean naming and feeding, first time feeding, all are they celebrate as a ceremony. But in the Sinhala culture, nourished by Buddhism, they were shaped in a way that was suitable for a Buddhist lay life. In Sri Lanka, they use it as a Buddhist culture. Even in activities such as eating and drinking, the effects of Buddhist teaching, such as modesty, austerity, use of knowledge, and purity are seen. We can see those things with Buddhist culture. Religious festival were a special part of Sinhala culture. Did you watch the Dalada Perahera Hiroko? No.
Yeah, then
Candy?
I went
Candy
to
Perahera?
meditation
Yeah.
center. Mamoru show
Candy.
Candy Perahera.
Candy Perahera, yes.
Yes.
Very
It's
famous.
a very largest and very huge Perahera in Sri Lanka. And it's a very beautiful Perahera. The first. Okay. The Mihindu Perahera, which is held for Mahinda Mahatero, started in the earlier days. Mahamahinda Tero started Poson Perahera, Mihindu Maha Perahera, on Poson Poya Day. Actually, this is a picture of Dalada Perahera, Candy Perahera. It held Asala. And I told you earlier, King Dutugamunu, he started Vesak Perahera. Okay. It can be thought that festivals like Aryavansa sermon, kind of Dhamma sermon, Dalada Pujotsava, worship in Dalada, Tutrilik, Girivanda Puja, offering things needed in temples. Not only gain merit, but also on the skill of the Sinhalese. Then, charitable acts such as sermons, which are held day and night for months, and was pinkam mean rainy season, and katina pinkang or katina ceremony have been transformed into aspects that have become embedded in the life of the Sinhalese. Those activities also were added into the part of life in Sinhalese by the Sinhala people. Okay. Actually, this is a very big topic, but I summarized. Okay. Actually, earlier we discussed how to spread and how to develop Buddhism in Sri Lanka and how to came to Buddhism to Sri Lanka. And this is a summary of all the topic as I think, and I added some other parts, how to change the cultural life of the Sinhalese. Okay. Maybe in the examination, definitely, as I think, you have, maybe you will be a question, have a question from this topic. Okay. Therefore, refer this note, my note and my presentation, and read 2 or 3 times. Okay. Maybe, but I did not give any sample question also. Definitely I will discuss sample questions, don't worry. And because this topic covered all the areas of Sri Lankan Buddhist culture. Okay. I did not add all the details to the presentation, but I have added more than the presentation details to the your note. Okay, it is a 3-page, as I think 3 or 4 pages note. You can read it again and again. Okay.
Okay, Bhante.
Please hands up if
Yes.
you have any question.
No question.
I think we can wind up earlier today.
Yes.
Actually, this is a small topic, but the wide area we discussed. Okay, vast area. If you don't have any question, I would like to wind up today lecture because I also have another small work
Okay.
to preach in a Dhamma sermon.
Yes.
7. Okay. Did you all get the note?
Yes.
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 Okay. I will send the presentation also, and you can refer it as a short note. Huh?
Okay, Bhante.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you
Thank you
very
very much, all of you, to come into the lecture. and we will meet again next Thursday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. May the
Thank-
Triple Gem bless you.
Thank
Sadhu.
you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much,
Thank you very
Bante.
much, Bante.
Okay. Sadhu, sadhu.